Obesity and weight are global problems. According to data from Loud Cloud Health, the world has more than 1 billion overweight adults. Don't worry, for weight loss, Acidaburn weight loss supplement comes into play. Acidaburn is a newly released dietary supplement that targets the true root cause behind weight gain and obesity. Acidaburn contains herbal extracts in the golden ratio which work toward the goal of melting off excess pounds by means of increasing specific agents in your body. This means the supplement is organic in its composition and doesn't bring any side effects. This ingredient delivers multiple health benefits. It supports the digestive system and helps the body get rid of unwanted belly fat. If you're struggling with deep, excess body fat and you've tried those other supplements to no avail, Acidaburn could be just what you need. Get it now. Official link given in the description.
Doctor with your endocrinologist preferably, or diabetes doctor, to make sure that you are slowly, gradually cutting down on the carbs or making a major cut on your insulin. Now, every time you make a cut on your insulin or your medications, the response may not be just like what you foresee, so you may still have to be monitored. Now, with good thing about Sugar MDs, we monitor you guys remotely. So you check your blood sugar, bam, it pops up on my screen, so I know you have a low blood sugar, so I can call you and let you know what's going on. So this kind of close monitoring has to be done for every diabetic patient, not just on keto diet, but I think from being accountable standpoint, I think that's also the greatest way to go. Remote patient monitoring is the key. But again, if you're on an insulin or sulfonylurea agent, make sure you talk to your doctor. Another problem from a metabolism standpoint. Now, it looks very glorious, you lose a bunch of weight on keto diet, right? But the problem is it is so hard to maintain, so you end up losing fat and the muscle, as we discussed, and then suddenly there's a party, suddenly there's some social events, suddenly there's a family gathering, Christmas kicks in, Easter, Ramadan, whatever you're celebrating, and suddenly all these carbohydrates available and everybody's eating, you're like, I cannot eat this, I cannot eat that. They're going to look like you're a little weird guy. So, or they may just actually say, oh, you're such a great willpower and so forth. But regardless of the case, you're going to miss the enjoyment, and that can happen occasionally. Now, once you get back into that sneaky carb situation, your body will taste it again, and you're going to have cravings again. And the thing is, if you lose your willpower and if you get back into carbs, you are going to accumulate so much fat back into your body, and that fat will go around your organs. Now, sometimes we call insulin-resistant patients skinny fats. So some people are actually very skinny, especially smokers, for example. They look skinny from a distance, but if when they do autopsy studies on these patients, for example, for one or the other reason, they see that there's a lot of fat around the liver, around the other organs, around the intestines. Body accumulates the fat around your organs, not under your skin, and that is the biggest problem for insulin resistance. So you don't have to look fat from a distance, but you can still be fat inside, and that is a huge problem for insulin resistance. So guys, if you're losing weight and you don't think you're going to stick with keto, you're going to go back to carbs, don't even start the keto diet, because you're going to lose muscle, and then later you're going to gain all the fat around your organs, which is going to be worse. Now, the biggest problem is the keto diet can lead to dehydration. Now, another patient group with diabetes.
What kinds of receipts are useful when filing taxes? Itemizing deductions is a great way to reduce your taxable income and potentially receive or increase a tax refund. All deductions must be documented, so saving receipts for deductible expenses is a must. To avoid clutter, review which everyday expenses are tax deductible and which are not. Medical costs: if your total medical expenses exceed 7.5% of your adjusted gross income, AGI, in 1 year, you can deduct the amount that exceeds the base percentage. However, you will need to document all of your medical expenses to claim the deduction. Since you might not know until the end of the year if your medical expenses will exceed 7.5% of your AGI, you should keep all related receipts throughout the year, just in case. Medical expenses include premiums for medical and dental insurance and a wide range of treatments, including chiropractic services, acupuncture, mental health services, weight loss programs, smoking cessation programs, physical therapy, and many more. Qualified expenses can be for yourself, your spouse, and any of your children or dependents, including children you could have claimed as dependents but didn't due to a separation or divorce agreement, or that you could have claimed as a dependent except that they made more than $4,300 for tax year 2020. Childcare-related expenses. Childcare expenses can add up fast, but be sure your care provider can also provide a receipt. You might qualify for a credit for the child or dependent care expenses paid to a daycare facility, a day camp, an after-school program, or even a babysitter, as long as the care enabled you, and your spouse, if you're married, to work or to seek employment. To qualify, both you and your spouse must have earned income, unless your spouse is a full-time student or is disabled. If the childcare takes place in your own home, some other expenses might qualify, including the cost of a cook, a maid, or housekeeper who provides services for your child or your dependent. Qualifying dependents include any child who is under age 13 that you claim as a dependent, a disabled dependent or spouse who is mentally or physically unable to care for himself or herself. Business-related expenses. Are you self-employed, either full-time or as a side gig? Many of the items or services you pay for to conduct your business may be tax deductible. These can include supplies and materials, office space, travel, and insurance. If you run your business from home, you might be able to deduct the business portion of certain utilities and expenses. Be sure to save receipts from your business-related purchases as well as phone, internet, and utility bills. You'll also want to keep your rent or mortgage information. State and local taxes. If you itemize deductions on your federal tax return, you're allowed to deduct either the state income tax or the state sales tax you paid. Typically, the income tax amount is greater, but if you made a large ticket purchase, such as a car, RV, boat, or home improvements, the amount of sales tax you paid might exceed the amount of state income tax. If you want to deduct your sales tax, you'll need to save all the receipts that show how much sales tax you paid throughout the year. When it's time to put your receipts to work, let TurboTax guide you through preparing and filing your tax return. We'll ask simple questions about your tax situation and identify all of the tax breaks that you qualify for that can lower your tax bill or possibly put a refund in your pocket.